Ciao amici, ben rittornati a una nuova puntata della reazione dell'americano. Io sono l'americano, mi chiamo Franco. Oggi ho fatto un'intervista about 18 mesi fa con un giocatore ero allenatore per tantissimi anni fa, 2013, è l'ultima volta che ha giocato per me. Ha giocato per Georgia, gli Stati Uniti, in le NCAA, quello è il college prima che vanno a giocare a professionisti. Dopo ha giocato a tanti posti, in Cyprus per AEK, ha giocato in Israele, ha giocato l'altro anno dove era? Mi sto dimenticare. Bueno, è arrivato all'Italia, ora gioca per Rimini. Ora, sta intervista in inglese, chiedo scusa, ma se capite l'inglese volete vedere il giocatore Derek Ogbeide dal Rimini Basketball. Um, Qui lo potete vedere, sta giocando bene. Vediamo, guardate l'intervista e fammi sapere che ne pensate di lui. Bravissimo ragazzo, lo voglio bene. Anyways, ci sentiamo presto. Presto, che è presto? Ci sentiamo presto. E qui c'è l'intervista con me e Derek Ogbeide. Alright, let's go. Hey now, Productions. Hello, Jaguars. Today we have one of the premier MPJ basketball players. Played for the Georgia Bulldogs of the NCAA and has just come off a championship win with the AEK Larnaca Basketball Club from the Cyprus League. I would like to welcome the incredible, superhuman, the awesome Derek Trigger Ogbeide. Welcome, Derek. How are
How
ya?
you doing?
I'm
I'm doing
great.
good,
I
doing
miss
good.
you, man. Last time I saw you was at
Congratulations.
Seton Hall in New Jersey.
It really was. No, it's been way too long.
It's like
It's been a hell of a
six
long
years
time.
now, man. I remember it
Yeah,
was me, Terry, and Jesse, and we only got to see you for like 20 minutes upstairs in the
literally,
family and friends room, and then you guys
yeah,
had to bolt because your coach said if you
exactly.
win, you stay. If you
Right.
lose, you're going home. And
Out of there.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
it was a L that night.
it was. We were gone immediately. We couldn't save face, and it was. I think prior to that, the last time we saw each other was another 3 or 4 years before that
It
moment.
was
Also,
grade 10. It was
hmm
exam days in June.
crazy. It's been way too long.
Way too long. Well, just
Yeah.
so everyone knows, Derek was an alumni in grade 9 and 10, and then he moved to Georgia to continue his basketball career. And we have him here today. We're proud of him at Johnson, and we speak highly of him. He was a good person, a good basketball player, and a team guy as well. And we loved having him. He was part of the family with Eugene and Jesse and Terry and Josh
Oh,
and
nice.
Desmond. Like that was a great crew, and it was a good
Absolutely.
group of guys, and we had a great time. A great
It
time.
really was, man. It really was. Those are my boys. Those are my boys. I don't know when I'm gonna see. I think I'm planning on seeing Terry this summer probably, and I'm gonna find a way. He's gonna be with Eugene if anything, but I'm gonna see both of them. I got to see all the boys soon. It's been a long time.
Are you heading back home now that the season's over in Cyprus?
Yes, yes, I am. I'm probably gonna go see my mom first. She's in Houston, and then when I head back.
Alrighty, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll start off with you spent grade 9 and 10 at Johnson under Coach Perry and then myself in grade 10. What drew you to basketball and how did basketball benefit you?
Firstly, as far as me being drawn to the game, man, it was a I wouldn't say necessarily slow. I started relatively late for the later than most kids, but I still kind of just kind of had a calling for it. But I think the biggest thing was when I slowly and gradually really actually fell in love with the game and being around it so much, and then having the opportunity at Johnson to first play in kind of like one of my first few organized settings, which prior to that hadn't really been much at all, or even anything at all really. So really starting from Johnson, I think was really like my first step into even high school basketball was playing at a level that can be upgraded and that I could grow from and learning of the game and the atmosphere around there in Johnson around that time, you know, all my friends, everybody, like you mentioned, Eugene, Terry, we're all ballers, we're all basketball players. So, it was early mornings, it was afternoons, anything to get in the gym at that time. We were all just about getting in the gym.
Right. I recall even just the crowds were great. We'd have 500 kids
Oh
in the
yeah,
stands, and it was pretty amped up. It was fun. It
it
was
really was. No, it really was. We did a whole lot of winning too.
yeah,
I will say that we did a whole lot
we
of
what
winning.
was it? We were 42-3 that year.
Really? Wow. Really?
We
I didn't even
played
know it was
that
that.
many games. That many games.
Seriously, that's
Yeah.
that's. I didn't even play that many games here. That's unbelievable.
And we did that between November and the end of February. Like that's
Wow.
yeah,
Are you
that was like
serious?
NBA numbers in terms of games.
Literally, that's an NBA schedule.
Yeah, because if we went till April, we would have been at 80.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily,
Z-
easily.
Look,
That's
everyone
crazy.
wanted you guys. I'd get so many calls. Can you come to this tournament? Can you come to that tournament? Like you guys were a hot product. So,
Wow.
what was your most memorable moment playing at Johnson?
And I was just about to say this. This is my most memorable moment, but it's also for some reason so blurry to me. But I don't know if you remember. It was probably our last game of the season. I'm not sure if it was a championship or if it was something for the division. But I remember all of us we went over to somewhere where like I guess all the major teams were, and we all played, and we were playing against this team that was actually really good, and they had this one kid. It's such a blur to me right now, but I remember the whole thing still. But they had another kid that was also really good then, and we kind of just battled it out. And we had it was a really good game. I'm not sure if we lost or we won. I'm pretty sure we didn't win that game, but it was like literally I do remember it was like literally our last game.
It
Or
was
it
our
was the
champion. It was
championship.
championship game. We lost by one.
Yeah.
I made a
Oh,
mistake
oh
at
my
the end.
gosh,
I
Jesus
made a
Christ.
mistake. I take a full liability on the loss. It was
Oh
me.
my, what happened? You have to remind me because it's so hazy.
I called a timeout.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the ref didn't call it until you guys got halfway down the court and were ready to score, and then he called it. And
Wow.
and stopped the play. And not only did we scored, right when he blew the whistle, we
Yeah.
scored. And I'm
Really.
I'm like looking at
Yeah.
the ref. I called that timeout 3 seconds ago, but that's life.
Exactly.
That is
Jesus.
life.
It really is. It really is. Wow.
You majored in what was your major, and why do you believe
Um.
education benefited you, and why do you believe education is important?
Well, my major was business marketing and management, and then also consumer economics, which also, in a way, go hand in hand. Education has benefited me in so many ways. Especially just my background and the way I grew up. It's made me more applicable to not only people, but to conversations and to situations that normally uh, a person wouldn't be as comfortable in. Um, I know, but I really do feel like, of course, it's extremely important that it's a way to not only grow as oneself. You gotta find yourself in a sense when it comes to an educational standpoint because of what you learn and what you feel like you can be best drawn to, what you feel like you can maximize your skills at, whatever that is, specifically. But it's important that it gives you the opportunity to really look at everything and to decipher for yourself exactly what route you want to take. So that was always really good for me. And of course, I know you always have a fallback plan at the end of the day if in case of anything. So that's always a major part too.
Very good. That's true.
Yeah.
I saw you in Houston marching. I guess I'm assuming it was after George Floyd,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It
we
was.
did get our verdict finally.
Yes. Absolutely.
How do you feel? Where is that gonna? Do you think that's gonna move us forward as a society? Is it a good first? Is it our first step, or and what more needs to be done?
It's definitely a first step. I think that's the important thing. And as far as what more needs to be done, there's a plethora of things that I literally could list, but it all comes down to one thing essentially, which is accountability for one, for all people. And then having this understanding, you have to be in the right mental frame, you know, and really because it's about relationships and people. So you be in the right mental frame to be able to put yourself in people's shoes and understand where other people are coming from. because we share this world, we share this planet, and everything is mainly or should be centered around love. In the end of the day, from a not only an idealistic standpoint, but from a general standpoint, because that's the best way. Money, all those other things are fantastic, and connections and power. Everybody loves those general things, but when it comes down to it, your core being, as far as who you are as a person, you need to operate from a standpoint of love. And I think that and understanding, and I think that's where a lot of these issues might stem, and a lot of the problems that we've had. But like I said, it's definitely a step. It's a step number one, and it was good. It was necessarily, it was needed, and I think it gave. I would say solace a little bit in a sense, but at the same time, you have to understand situations like that. And as far as and how it continues to happen still, there's never really any peace until we step back, break down, the layers of what's been put in front of us, and really address it, and take it from there, and kind of almost essentially probably rebuild, in the sense of it, because it's necessary. It's necessary for the people.
So true. So true.
Mhm.
You're well traveled. You've lived all
That's
over the world. I know you were obviously in Nigeria where you started. Then I believe you were in Sweden. You came to Toronto. You've been all over the States. Now in Cyprus. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Um,
yeah.
how have you found like living in these different places from just anti-black race, like from a black racism type of perspective? How have your experiences been being in these different places?
I will say, growing up in these places and situations like that, for one, it shaped me in ways that most people aren't privy to, and it gave me a better understanding from a cultural, standpoint and perspective of how I should act towards people in other races, because I saw so many different races, growing up, and the mindset as a child growing up like that, with other children, you don't get to be sort of programmed, or be put into a place of racial ideals, because to children, we're all children. Kids see kids as kids until an understanding of that's formed in their mind that becomes difference, and then you start to separate mentally based on whatever. But as a child, it really flattened out the playing field for me, and allowed me to see, so many different things in so many different ways, but gave me a general understanding that no matter what it comes down to, we're all the same. We're all human, we're all people, and those are the things that I really do feel like kind of have mainly impacted me, and impacted how I treated people and the people that are around me. So I was blessed enough to not see or not receive as much of detention at that age. Growing up, of course, you know, and then that we start talking about the age and the mentality of people as they grow, and then I begin to see it change. So I was really able to see it progress in not only those kids' minds, not only those people's minds, but I can see it being formulated, which is why I know that it's a thing that is obviously taught, and of course nobody's born with that sense of mentality. So I was able to watch it from the outside looking in, and formulate my own understanding. So it definitely was a learning thing for me.
Great answer. Lots of experience for you. So, yeah, you have seen quite a bit and have seen many perspectives, I guess.
Yeah, no way.
So I know you have a deep faith in the Lord. How do you apply
Absolutely.
this to your day-to-day life and to basketball?
Oh man, uh, I have to say, and again, I can't even start to talk about the Lord without thanking Him first, because the position that I've been so blessed to be in, literally from my life, and how I was drawn to basketball, and how basketball made a way for me, and provided for me, and brought me around people that I cared about, and made other people happy as a result of what I was doing. All those things, man, it really coexist with what I think should be purpose, for whoever. So when you start to talk about purpose, or a person's purpose, of course God, the Lord, has purpose for your life, and of course I knew that, always understood it, but He has a specific purpose. I knew what it was exactly, and the route in which you want to go about it. Everybody has their own ideals, but what I think is probably always the best part is that he always provides. And he's literally always provided for me and my family. Whatever I've always needed, he's always been right there. Of course, at his own timing, but always still right on time. So I'm grateful, man. I'm so happy. I thank God every day that it's really implemented in me. My relationship with him, I will say, has grown. I continue to grow with it, every day, ever since a young age. I've had a love for God like none other. So I've always been, super close to him, and of course, as we move through life, we get our strains. Nobody's perfect, and nobody's exempt from anything that life brings. So I think centered around that is being consistent and really being anchored in in him himself. Because you'll go through things, but as long as you're anchored in God, in a sense of anything, what you go through with your life, he'll always have you. He'll always have you back. I know he's always had mine, and you know it's really a relationship. It's the same relationship that you would have with a person, the same relationship that you would have with a father or mother, your brother, sister, friends. It's the same kind of relationship that he wants with you that you can have, with him. So we talk. I could you connect with him, and there's a sense of love there that exists and that is real. So I think that's what it's always about.
Nice. Beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Uh, what are your goals for basketball? And this part isn't, it's too soon, but what are your plans after basketball?
Uh, my goals for basketball, as of right now, really to continue to elevate and to really reach where I know I can reach, and to do the things that I'm positive that I'm able to do. For me, growing up in basketball has always kind of been about opportunity, and like I said, God always provides, so it always came. And then it then becomes what I do with it, the choices I make, within that the opportunity it's given. So you have a platter of options, and you have to choose one. You have to run with it, and you have to make something happen from it. But like I said, as of right now, God has placed me precariously enough that there's a line for me to reach the goal that I ultimately want to reach, and reach the purpose that I know He has for me. So, uh, you know, and it's easier said than done, but it'd be almost skewed or silly of me not to follow it, not to take it. But at the same time, that's when it comes into being anchored with him and trusting him, in the sense that you have to really trust him and believe, because you're not going to see everything, but you understand, and where a certain path is leading you. After basketball, I've always been about business since a young age. I've been very business oriented. I was when I was little. I remember always thinking to myself, "Well, everything really is a business." So I always try to center myself to have a really good business background. So um, I'm super into that. I know there's a new way of entrepreneurship that's happening around the world, but I come from a core line of business that may not necessarily lead corporate, but will always lead conglomerately, because I know the skills I possess when it comes to marketing or management, inside the business field, and being able to apply that knowledge to whatever I'm doing. So
Beautiful. Well, it's good that you have your things laid out. As
absolutely,
what do you got? 10 more years left in basketball, maybe, right?
yeah, at the very least, I would say.
Give or take, yeah. So
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. And hey, maybe you can work with Eugene on and Terry with their what was it? Broke
Bro,
baby
baby,
brand.
yeah, bro, baby, man, yeah. No, we could definitely do something. Maybe a collab of them.
Work with them.
I got
Hey,
to.
maybe you can put out an NFT. I don't know if you know what that is. Uh,
Ah.
of yourself, and see if you can auction it off to the fans of the Cypress League. You
Oh
never
yeah,
know.
no, I'm sure that they literally. I love them so much, man. They like me. They love me a lot down here. So I know it could definitely be possible.
Yeah,
if tried.
I saw I saw when you guys got back to the stadium back from your championship. It was
Yeah.
pretty wild outside.
Oh my God, it was wild. It's been wild for the past couple days. Actually, we actually went on a little tour around the city. The
I,
bus
I
ride,
saw that.
and
Yeah.
had. You saw, yeah, we had both trophies, we had both cups out, and The city was so happy, man. The looks on their faces
For
it
sure.
was wonderful. Yeah.
Last question. Before a
Yes, sir.
game, what are your
Mhm.
favorite tracks to listen to get yourself amped up?
Before a game. Okay. Before a game for me, I literally have a whole routine. A lot of most basketball players, we all have our routines and our little patterns. I usually just go shuffle. So it's whatever I'm listening to at the time, whatever's in my most recently played is what I used to play. So I go shuffle. But my routine is has always been a lot more specific and to the point. Not in a crazy way, but always very, very, very consistent. As far as the things I do, I probably still to this day. Well, I don't know if it's recent. It actually probably increased this day, but I probably have like 3 or 4 little prayers before I get to the court, and then one more like in the middle of the court right before jump ball. Every
Nice.
game, all the time. I think I've
Nice.
started doing that since the beginning of college, probably. No. I'm sorry, high school. Since actually I left Johnson, and I started doing the jump ball. So I pray every time before jump off, before tip off, and that's just one of the things. But of course, I have my own little superstitions and routines that I like to take
For
care of.
sure. Lastly, do you
Absolutely.
have anything you want to plug or promote?
Uh, no, nothing that I'm plugging and promoting right now. But at some point in time, I will have some things to plug and promote. Right now, I'm trying to promote my basketball and take that to the next level and the highest level that I possibly can. So,
Is it okay if I share your IG with the fans?
oh yeah,
If they want to
absolutely,
follow you?
absolutely,
Okay, I'll do that.
yeah,
I'll put a link in the video after, okay?
perfect,
Uh
perfect.
Anything you want to add before we close this?
Uh, I love you guys, man. I really do. I don't know when I'll be back in Canada. It's been so long since I've been in Toronto. I really want to come. Hopefully this summer, if time can be made, and if all things calm down in the world. But I really appreciate you, of course, and I miss everybody over at Johnson. I know maybe the staff's a little different, or yeah, I know it probably definitely looks a little different than
A little.
from what I was last to do. Yeah,
A lot of
there's a
them are
little
still
bit.
there though. A lot of them are still
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah. So hopefully, if I ever come back, or if I move back with those boys from Johnson, Terry and Eugene and them, I would love to come back down to the school and see you guys again because it's been so long. So
Th Thank you, Derek. This has been awesome. It's been a pleasure to
absolutely,
see you again for the first time in years. And
I know.
like you said, hopefully we'll see each other soon, brother.
Hopefully.